Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this latest webinar from PMR regarding realising business opportunities in our region of focus and expertise of Central and Eastern Europe and Russia. Our subject matter for today is the clothing and footwear markets of Poland and other selected CE countries. We'll be looking at current status, key trends and development prospects for these markets. To briefly introduce myself, my name is Mark Hampson and I am Head of Business Development here at PMR. For background, PMR is a market intelligence, research and consulting organisation headquartered here in Krakow. We've been here for nearly 19 years, employing over 100 in-house professionals, all specialists in their sectors, and between them speaking in the region of 15 languages, with an in-depth understanding of each of the key markets and sectors throughout the region. I'd like to start immediately by introducing our speaker for today, Gergely Szilágyi. Gergely is a retail analyst here at PMR with a particular focus on clothing and footwear markets. Gergely, I'll pass over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I would also like to welcome everyone to this presentation. I am Gergely Szilágyi, one of the analysts who worked on this presentation. And today I would like to talk to you about some of the key findings of the report. Let me give you a short rundown of what we are about to see during the presentation. Okay, sorry. So first of all, I would like to talk to you about the short overview of the market. That means trends and the structure of the market, and also some expansion trends that we see on the market. Then I will move on to the introduction of the top players. We will look in detail onto the top 2 players of each of the segments. Then we will move on to major trends that we believe are interesting on the market. I will give you 3 such trends. And finally, I will talk about the outlooks, how we evaluate the future performance of the market in the next 3 years. Before we jump into the presentation, though, I would like to give you a few information that will help you better understand what I'm about to talk about now. First of all, the time span of our report is the interval between 2009 and 2015. So we give actual data for the years between 2009 and 2012, and we give forecasts and estimations for 2013 and 2015. However, as you will see already in my presentation, we regard the year 2008 as quite important, as this is the year that we consider the pre-crisis level, so the last year before the crisis, with let's say the normal development of the market. So it will come up in my presentation and in the report as well. We will compare current market trends and market values to this year as well. As for the geographical scope of the report, for the purposes of the report, Central Europe consists of 6 countries, as you can see on the slide. So these are Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Romania, and Slovakia. Whenever we refer to CE, we mean these 6 countries. And finally, for the introduction, I would like to talk about the exchange rates that we use in the report and in the presentation as well. First of all, why is it important? It is important on one hand because, as you will see later in the presentation, most of the major chains in the region are of foreign origins. But even those market players who are locals tend to have their manufacturing outside of the region in a growing trend. Mostly in Asia, so their costs also rise in other currencies, mainly in euros or USD. And secondly, it is important because we have seen quite substantial exchange rate fluctuations in recent years. As you will see on my very first chart. Of course, what I just told you only affects 4 of the 6 countries, as Slovakia already introduced the euro in 2009, while the Bulgarian lev is pegged to the euro, so that practically serves as a constant exchange rate. So let's start with the overview of the clothing and footwear market in Central Europe. First of all, I would like to give you the market value in these selected years, and also already some forecasts. And you can see that the columns are for the market value calculated in constant exchange rates with this grayish or dark bluish color, and with current exchange rates. These are the light green columns. My very first point with this chart is that, as I already referred to it, exchange rate fluctuation is quite important in the region. As you can see, especially in the year 2009, there is a major difference between the two columns. This is, of course, the result of the crisis hitting the region and causing a major depreciation of over 14% of local currencies. That is an average for all the four currencies that are used in the region. But as you can see, the distances or the differences between the following columns, fluctuations did not stop, unfortunately, in 2009. And as we could see from the annual reports of several of the analyzed companies, they do play a major role. I could tell you a number of examples where actually the performance of the company is positive in local currencies, but as soon as it is translated into the currency of their bookkeeping, it turns into a negative trend. And my second point that I would like to make with this chart is the level of the market, namely that the market still hasn't regained its pre-crisis, so let's say 2008 level as of 2012. Here again, there is a major difference in terms of which currency or which exchange rate we are using. But even with the constant exchange rate of 2008, the market has only reached 99% of its pre-crisis level. However, for next year, we are absolutely sure that the market in the region will surpass its pre-crisis level. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for the value calculated with current exchange rates. As you can see on the chart, it is not forecasted to reach its pre-crisis levels until 2015. Now I gave you a short overview of the development of the whole market. Now let's break it down into the respective countries in the region. And this chart shows you the absolute growth, so in absolute terms, in million euros, of the 6 countries of the region as compared to 2008. And as you can see, here already Poland stands out because this is the only country that managed to gain, and not even a small, a quite substantial rise since 2008. That is over 500 million euros. So the Polish clothing and footwear market is over 500 million euros bigger than it was in 2008. None of the other countries have similar results. As you can see, Bulgaria is has just regained its pre-crisis market share. It is in plus 1 million euros, so it is quite minimal. While Hungary and the Czech Republic, they are practically there, so the differences are still negative, but only 4 and 5 million euros respectively. So compared to the whole market size of these countries, basically they reached their pre-crisis levels, while Slovakia and Romania are not there yet, and we forecast that they will not reach their pre-crisis levels in the coming years, so until 2015, as long as our analysis goes. I would like to make here one more point, and that is the major difference between Bulgaria and Romania. We tend to consider these two countries very similar, as they are both on the Balkans and have similar development levels. However, as you can see here, they show a very, very different picture in terms of development since 2008. And that is because Romania was struck in a very specific point of its development in 2009, namely that the development, the surge of the very dynamic growth of the clothing and footwear market has just started before the crisis hit the country. So in 2008, the market recorded a growth of 28%, and in the very next year it dropped 24. And ever since it is lagging just with minimal growth rates or rather stagnation. This is why we see such a big difference, because in Bulgaria this high level of growth hasn't started yet. In 2008, that is why they didn't have so much to fall back from. So much about the growth trends in the region. Now I would like to go on to the structure of the market, and here I would like to give you a comparison between Poland and the rest of the countries. As you can see, Poland has an over 50% market share, 51.4% according to our estimation in 2012, which means that the Polish market is actually overrepresented in the region. Let me give you some baseline for why we say that it is overrepresented. So if we look at because if we look at the share of Poland in terms of population, it was 41.5% in 2012, or the share of GDP, in terms of GDP, 43.6%, while the share of clothing and market is much higher. This leads to another interesting point on the market, that if a company has top ranking in Poland, it means absolutely firm position in the region as well. I will refer back to this a bit later in my presentation. As for the future of these shares, we do not expect Poland to lose much of it, although as we forecast Romania and Bulgaria to be the fastest growing countries or markets in the region in the next 3 years. We expect the share of Poland to decrease a little bit, but still remain above 51%. Now let's move on to another, the structure of the market from another point of view, and that is the share of the respective segments, so clothing and footwear. As you can see on the pie chart, the market is clearly dominated by the clothing segment, almost 76% of share. Of course, this might be very different in the respective countries. As you can see, Hungary has an over 80% share of the clothing segment. What is for us a bit more important because of the future of the market is the share of Bulgaria and Romania. I mean the share of the footwear market in Bulgaria and Romania. It is relatively high compared to the rest of the region. In both countries, the footwear segment is approximately at around 28%. And we believe that this is because of the let's say the lower level of development of the clothing segment, and not because of the higher level of development of the footwear segment, meaning that this really fashion clothing segment has just begun to expand in these two countries, especially in Bulgaria, a bit less in Romania. So there, people only bought clothing products when they really needed to replace the existing ones, and not because they were trying to follow upcoming fashion trends. Now there is a different trend. We can already see the very strong expansion of international chains in the markets, and they will most probably change the attitude of the market in the coming years. So we forecast that the share of the clothing segment in the whole region will rise to approximately about above 76% till 2015. Now I would already like to show you the top 10 players, this time combined for the clothing and footwear segment. So these are the top 10, and our message with this slide is the key to their success into their regional leadership position is presence in all 6 key markets. As of course you may see that there are exceptions. I wouldn't like to talk about Tesco now, but in case of CNA, CCC and Taco Fashion, they are not present on the Bulgarian market, although this tells more about the Bulgarian market than of the retailers. It's just the Bulgarian market is not as developed yet, as you will see in a few seconds. But still, the overwhelming majority of these light gray squares show that most of the players are present in all of the markets. There are exceptions on this chart from another point of view, and that is that all the market players that we wrote with white font color are regional subsidiaries of international chains operating in the region. There are two exceptions, and already on the top of the ranking we see LPP. That is, for those of you who don't know or not familiar with the company, that is the biggest clothing company of Poland. CCC is also of Polish origin, but it is a player on the footwear market. Now these two companies managed to get to the top 10 ranking based on their performance on their home market, meaning Poland. So this also means that Poland is a very good incubator for later international competition. These two companies reached such a level in their development that for them the logical step was to expand outside of their home country and in the region and also outside of the region as well. I will come back to this a little bit later, but this leads us already to the expansion trends in the region that I would like to show you. However, I would like to ask for your patience a little bit, as I would like to go on with let's say more traditional expansion trends in the region, and I mean more traditional in the sense that the region is still defined by expansion of foreign retailers into the region, as for example seen in Bulgaria and Romania. I already mentioned that these two countries are a bit behind of the other four in terms of development. How much behind? That's a good question. I would say that if we just consider the market entry of these companies that whose logos I put on the chart, I would say that they are approximately 6 to 10 years behind of, let's say, Poland or the Czech Republic, so the pioneers of the region, in terms of the expansion of major international clothing and footwear chains. Why is it happening now? That's a very important question. And here I would like to take a side note as well, that in my current presentation I'm not going to talk about the shopping center markets in the respective countries. However, in the report, of course, you will find detailed analysis and data for all of the countries, for all the planned, existing, and forecasted shopping malls being built, all the GLA numbers and everything you may need for the respective markets. I would just say this in connection with shopping center development, that this is the key factor that made the expansion of these retail chains in Bulgaria and Romania possible. So again, the boom of shopping center development started in Bulgaria a bit earlier, so in 2-3 years ago, while in Bulgaria even less. And the emergence of high-quality retail space enabled these major chains to enter the market with their own shops and not only through franchises. The second trend that I would like to mention is the emergence of clothing discounters, first and foremost in Poland, in the Czech Republic and Slovakia. However, we consider this trend important from another aspect as well, so I would like to elaborate on this one a bit later when we come to other trends that we see in the region. Now I will just say that much, that we see this as a clear sign of declining purchasing power as of the outbreak of the crisis in the region, so after 2008. And as I said, I will come back to this shortly. The third market expansion trend in the market that I would like to talk about is what I already mentioned in connection with LPP and CCC. And that is that these companies have grown so much. They're respective leaders of their segments in Poland. So LPP is the leader of the clothing segment in Poland, and CCC is the leader of the footwear segment. And they have grown so big in Poland that, as I already said, the logical step was to take on to a and international expansion. And so far, as we see, they are quite successful with that. As I already mentioned, I will give you a comparison of the top two players of each segment a bit later, and I will come back to these expansion trends, these players then. And so much about the overview about the market, or of the market. Now let me move on to the top players